Beloved star, warmest welcome to Elven Pod 79. And with this one, the energy is huge and absolutely fascinating at the moment. Ever since our Beltane Stargate, we're in the most immense recalibration. And as I started recording just now, it was 7:11 on my clock, and also we're on the 11th of May as I record this. So there's a Stargate energy that's becoming available within us, each one of us, as Stargate of New Earth, and very specifically the light of the great central sun, the light itself of Source that is at the heart of that Stargate of each one of us. And this is not just in our heart or in our etheric heart, our energetic heart, as it were. This is within the heart of every cell of our bodies now, remembering themselves as this. And as this happens, our capacities for and as creation completely change. So it's quite almost like a trippy time, or a time when our potentialities and our ability to generate time and space and our experience of these things, where our parameters with this are really shifting all over again. So it's a time to allow that mystery and that magic and that movement. And what I'm really feeling for this week, the guidance is to, as much as possible, let your body be familiar with the state of itself as Source, as the light of the great central sun. And you may feel that as the most beautiful spiraling golden radiance that is, and the spirals will feel intelligent and quite blossomy, as though they're infinitely, vastly, quantumly, there's no such word, blossoming within you. It is the sense of something duplicating at a level that's beyond the physical, and yet is the physical becoming in a new way. So our bodies are generating a new dimensional version of themselves, a new multidimensional version of themselves. And that is new. The word for that is new. So it's being familiar. It's finding that vibrational state within you, finding your experience of that, and letting yourself familiarize with it, not just brushing it aside or letting it come and go, or forgetting about it, but keeping on gently bringing it forward in awareness for the body. And that's a lot around our self-worth in a way. It's to allow ourselves to believe we could be having such an extraordinary experience, to believe we could be here in our ascension, that this is where we are. And that self-worth at levels of these deep dimensional shift, when our entire experience of ourselves, of Earth, of the stars, of everything that is altering because of a dimensional shift happening within us, we can be wobbly in our sense of self. We are necessarily so. It's intrinsically so. And when we can synchronize, when we let ourselves trust and familiarize with the beauty of what's happening, with very specifically at the moment, with the light of the great central sun that's coming online, as your physical cells knowing themselves as this at their very core, at their very heart, then we can have a completely different awareness around it and participate in the beauty of what's taking place. So this state is unveiling something within us that is going to bring a new dimensional level of awareness. So when I'm writing the Golden Wheel in the mornings, what's quite amazing to witness is that, say, within the heart of the kota of White Reindeer Woman, that's the heart of an aspect of my soul stream remembrance, that I see within the heart of her kota or her tent, the spirals of the great central sun actually emanating from within the soils and the ground of that tent, which is fascinating. So it's a dimensional synchronization, and it's not that that's not been there before. That's been there, but it's my level of felt awareness and my body remembering that and knowing that, and simultaneously witnessing it within the ground of the star observatory within my home world, which is a source dimension, a golden elven source dimension. And there's a beautiful star observatory within the heart of its city of light. And within that space, I've been witnessing, and it just comes quite suddenly, the awareness of the light of the great central sun as a patterning within the floor of that star observatory also. So likewise, I believe as I see this, that has always been there, but it's the level of my perception that's experiencing this dimensional synchronization and the awareness of the co-creation and the oneness of the light of the great central sun emanating from within the core of every particle within creation. And that when we create at this level, we are coming into co-creation with realms and worlds and dimensions that are already highly active within this continuum, which the Elven name as seventh dimensional and beyond. So this is the space where we are dreaming ourselves into being. When we become seventh dimensional, it's when we remember that we are self itself, that we are source itself, dreaming itself into being in the heart of every moment. And that we have the power to choose and to be that purest source expression of what we are called to express. So remembering the fullness of the dimensionality of that power and realizing there is nothing that curtails that. There is nothing outside you that can judge or determine or set a light limit on that, that knows better than that. And that is a profound unconscious as well as conscious reset to become aware of the release of the old light dynamics, where there is some external spiritual or metaphysical power outside of you that knows better what you should be creating. And it's actually realizing that the light of source within you is the discernment that knows. And this moon is very much about discerning our actions, the creation of our actions, and our creation through action, and being able to feel within the heart of every single moment, being able to discern and know, is this source aligned? Is this not? Is this of that seventh dimensional stream of that which I am creating itself into presence? Or is it something that is coming from a lower dimensional version of myself, of my intentions, of my thought streams? And that light of source that is able to discern that from within is also the power that can discern the reset. And is that state of eternal redemption within us, the capacity for our eternal redemption into the light of return. Within the heart of every moment, we have the capacity to reset, to find again, to discern, and to choose. So that's where that, if you like, knowing of what's right and what's not right comes from, is from within us. We are source, we have that capacity, we have that knowing, we have that claircognizance deep within the heart of us. And so within this, what we may be feeling is really the enhancement of our capacities of self-forgiveness, forgiveness of others, knowing ourselves as others, as liquid light of source, creating and choosing over and over again. And just as the light of source itself does not judge, neither do we, ourselves or others, but are discerning and eternally available to that reset, to that redemption, to that alignment with the light of who we are as source and choosing again. So within that, we have a great, if you like, there's a great softening that is possible within the Stargate of the heart, a great softening and an opening to our creative and our creational power, and being willing to self-express and to take the risks, to run that timeline, to make that choice, to see what happens, to see how that feels, run it, discover, where does it lead? Where does it take you? How do you feel when you go with that? And to know that you have the capacity to run that and to discern and to reset if needed, or to allow to further deepen and blossom if that so feels aligned. So our bodies are really exploring their knowing of themselves as Stargate, as source. And Within that, we have another expanded capacity, which is our ability to actually reset old timelines of action that we've made. As our body knows itself as source, we can, if you like, become the completing action of any timeline right here in the now. Any timeline we've participated in, any line of past action, anything that's in you that feels unresolved or incomplete, and you wonder about it. You wonder, perhaps, you have difficulty forgiving yourself or others, or it's something you're carrying still within yourself that feels weighty or linear. These timelines, we have the capacity within our embodied state of our bodies knowing themselves as source to be the completing energy of action, if you like, that brings that timeline into its fulfillment, and its fulfillment will always be its resolution, its self-realization into the light of source. So our body has the capacity in this now moment to be that completion and to bring that entire resolution. And within that timeline disappears. Because once the timeline resolves at that level of source, it no longer exists. It no longer exists in that form as a linear timeline. It is carried, if you like, simply as a fractal of self-realization within this eternal now moment, an aspect of divine experience we can draw from as the wisdom of experience, as the wisdom of self-realized source. And so we have an amazing capacity to be, if you like, collapsing or dissolving or releasing not only potential actions or actions in the now and resetting and relearning, but equally to be doing that in relation to old timelines of action, so that we are resolving. So I spoke at the beginning of a kind of trippy state. You can notice some of my words going here and there as I'm obviously in this reset also. So it's this state that we are going towards, that we're bending towards, is this state where we become a holographic, spherical experience. We no longer have that linear sense of ourselves, of our past or our future, and these heavier linearities that we self-generate in consciousness, which are actually lower dimensional constructs. Nothing wrong with them. There is nothing wrong with them. They're just a heavier, slower vibration. And our capacity to actually resolve into this higher dimensional spherical experience where we can bend, if you like, the time-space continuum and realize that we are self-generating our experience of time and space from within our own core as source, as the light of the great central sun. So collapsing all the old time-space dynamics, and more than collapsing, we'll be moving into experimenting with, well then, what time-space dynamics am I generating? What concept of my own becoming, of my own past, present, future, am I generating as this source creation? What's the story that I'm generating within consciousness? And what's the vibration of that story? How do I know that within my being? And it will feel very different. It won't have the linearity, the heaviness of the old storytelling of past, present, future. It will be different how you're self-generating this and realizing it is your choice point. And that you have the power to discern, is it aligned? Is it aligned? So this is the guidance for the now and the play that we're in, to let the body become familiar with this beautiful tide of the light of the great central sun within, that is resetting our body's capacity to know itself as source creating, to know itself as capable of doing that and being infinite in choice and infinitely free so to choose, as long as it bears responsibility unto that power and actually allows itself to reset in love everything within the continuum that needs to be brought to such, whether it's past, whether that's a future you're projecting, or whether it's simply something in this now moment that is under consideration, that is underway. And where do I bear this? Where do I take this? Where do I bring this? Everything is available to resolve into your highest expression in this now. So I hope that bears some clarity, even as I navigate something that is so incredible and multidimensional and current to our experience and current to my own explorations. And also within this now, I would love to make an invitation. It's a wonderful moment if you would love to enter Elven Aurora, if you've been considering journeying within Elven Aurora, our once weekly Elven Ascension transmissions, because we're about to enter the Oak Moon. And in the Oak Moon, we will really be looking at the power and the strength, coming into the confidence and the stability and the grounded strength of this new level of Star Creator presence and our capacity to dream our realities into being. So it's a gorgeous moon to hold you and to strengthen you and to be with the great power of the Elven Golden Oaks throughout. So much love, such blessings on your timeline of this week to come. Eshiana Tai Arathian. And this knowing of yourself, your body knowing itself as the light of the great central sun, dreaming and creating reality into being. Tea Tea Namaratai Anatharian. So much love and farewell for now.